Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. And today I am going to be taking a look at the very impressive catalogue from one of my favourite guitar players of all time, the one and only Julian Lage. And this is a follow-up edition to the last one that I did where I talked about Julian Lage's latest recording, which had just come out, called Squint, and I'm going to be taking a look at Julian Lage's catalogue of albums, which is a total of 7 studio recordings. And as always, I am going to be talking about each album individually, and I'll be choosing which one I think is the best one. And the first time that I became aware of Julian Lage was back in 2003 in college. It was one afternoon. We always had like a chill out sort of afternoon where there wasn't any work to do, so we would just play a bit of snooker or maybe watch a bit of TV or go on the internet. So I was looking for something to listen to musically, and I used to go on vervemusic.com, and then I saw a brand new recording from Gary Burton that had just come out called Gary Burton Generations, and I thought, okay, well, I'll listen to that. I know Gary Burton, you know, of course, with Pat Metheny and many other great guitar players that he's collaborated with over the years. So I listened to Gary Burton Generations, and I was just absolutely blown away by the guitar playing, and that was Julian Lage's guitar playing, of course. He was the same age as me at the time, 16 years old. And in a way, it was like listening to a young Pat Metheny all over again. It was just absolutely incredible. And his guitar playing, everything about him just blew my mind. I thought, wow, what an amazing guitar player. And he's only got 16. Never heard anyone play like that at any age, let alone 16 years old. So I had a conversation with my dad. He went up to central London, you know, to look at records and buy albums. And I said to him, the next time you're going out, can you buy me the latest Gary Burton album? It's called Generations. And he cocked his eye at me and said, you sure? I went, yes, I am absolutely sure. And he said, the only reason I'm saying that is because you do know that it's not going to sound like anything he's done with Pat Metheny. I said, I know that. I said, so why would you want to have that if there's no Pat Metheny? I said, well, there's this great guitar player. His name's Julian Lage. He's an amazing player. I would love to have that album because his guitar playing is the highlight of Generations. And he said, okay, if you're sure. So he bought me the album, and he was blown away as well. I was like, wow, this is really, really good. So listened to it a bunch of times, loved it. Bought the follow-up album with Gary Burton and Julian Lage, and then a few years after, I bought the 2 other Gary Burton albums called the Gary Burton New Quartet, which featured Julian Lage back on guitar with the rhythm section of Antonio Sanchez and Scott Colley. And all 4 of those albums that Julian Lage made with Gary Burton made me a fan. It was just fantastic. And I bought all of his albums shortly after, and I got to see Julian Lage live a couple of times, even got to meet him as well. And an amazing guitar player and an incredible human being and an all-round nice guy. He really is. And kind of ironic that we both share the same month for our birthday, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So it's quite cool. So as I mentioned already, I'm going to talk about Julian Lage's entire catalogue of albums, which is a total of 7 studio recordings. So we're going to start with the first album, which came out in 2009, and this is Sounding Points. So Sounding Points is the debut album of Julian Lage. He'd been around for quite some time as a steady sideman for Gary Burton, so he finally went out on his own and made this debut album as a band leader, and it's a really good album. It really is. So you got Clarity, All Purpose Beginning, Familiar Posture, The Informant, Peterborough, Long Day Short Night, Quiet, Through and Through, Little Darling, Tour 1, Alameda, Constructive Rest, Motorminder, Encore, All Blues. It's a good, strong debut album for Julian Lage. So there's all like who plays on what, and the same here. So the standout tracks for me, I would say, are Familiar Posture, which is like a solo guitar piece, and also Peterborough, which is again a duo track with Ben Rosif on saxophone, gorgeous track. And then we got Bella Flex on like one track on banjo. So the standout tracks for me are Familiar Posture, Peterborough, Quiet Through and Through, and also Tour 1, which is again another solo guitar piece, but it's a really good album this is, and got some of my favourite tracks in it, and also Constructive Rest, another guitar solo piece, and then we've got a duo track, Encore All Blues, with Julian Lage on guitar and Taylor Eigsti on piano. Brilliant track, you know, it's just absolutely gorgeous album this is, and as I said, a great strong album for Julian Lage, a good start. So there you have it, sounding points. If you're looking to get into Julian Lage's music, this is the one to start with. It's just absolutely brilliant. Or if you're not familiar with his catalogue, then maybe check out his stuff with Gary Burton first, but this is really, really good. So there you have it, sounding points. So we move to the next album, and this came out in 2011, and this is Gladwell. Really good album this is, and a nice follow-up to Sounding Points. Quick look. So we've got Julian Lage on electric and acoustic guitars, Dan Blake on saxophone, Aristides Rivez on cello, Auger Roda, who would go on to be one of his main collaborators, on bass, and Tupac Mantilla on drums. So good stuff here. There he is. Some sleeve notes there. A little bit each about the tracks. Some more there. Some more there as well. And some more there as well. So, standout tracks for me are, let's see. So we've got tracks like 233 Butler, Margaret, Point of the Way, However, Freight Train, Cathedral, Listening Walk, Cocoon, Autumn Leaves, I Were Taken, Listen Darkly, and Telegram. So standout tracks for me are Freight Train, Listening Walk, Cocoon, Autumn Leaves, and Butler. But it's a good album this is, a good follow-up album to Sounding Points, I would say. There you have it. Gladwell. So, as we move to the next album, and this, for me, could very well be the best album he's ever made. And this came out in, I'm trying to remember when this came out actually. This came out in 2014, and this is a solo acoustic guitar album. And for me, this could probably be the best album he's ever made. World's Fair. Love this album, could very well be my favourite. This is just Julian Lage on acoustic guitar, and it's got influences of Gordon Giltrap, Pat Metheny, Jim Hall. It's all there, and it's just absolutely a gorgeous album from start to finish. So you've got 40s, Peru, Chopin, Ryland, Double Stops, Gardens, Century, Where or When, Missouri, Red Parry Dawn, Day and Age, and Lullaby. Absolutely love this album. Great songs from start to finish. Great playing as well. And to me, this is the album, in my opinion, that put Julian Lage on the map. It's just a beautiful album. And standout tracks for me, there is none. I love them all. It's just an amazing album from start to finish. It's just a fantastic album. But if I had to choose some standout tracks, I'll say 40s, Japan, Double Stops, Where or When, and Missouri. But love this album from start to finish. It's just good stuff. So we come to the next album, which was released in 2016. This is a trio album featuring Scott Colley and Kenny Walzen, and this is Arclight. Good trio album. Scott Colley, one of the most reliable bass players in jazz. He's played with just about everyone. And Kenny Waslin, he's just an amazing drummer as well. So there they are. Julian Lage, to me, is at his best in a trio or solo, but he's just incredible. So standout tracks for me, I would say Fortune Teller, Nocturne, Activate, I'll Be Seeing You, Harland Blues and Ryland, but all of it's a good album. And I love this album, Arclight, it's just fantastic. So there you have it, Arclight, brilliant album. So we move to the next album, and this was released in 2018, and this is Modern Law. So same lineup as the last album, Scott Colley on bass and Kenny Waslin on drums, and he plays a little bit of vibraphone as well. So it's a really good album this is, and a great follow-up to Arclight. There we are. And we've got a couple of guest appearances from Tyler Chester on keyboards, Jesse Harris on maracas, Cassia, and he plays a bit of additional acoustic guitar as well, but it's primarily a trio. So standout tracks for me are The Ramble, Roger the Dodger, Lookbook, Earth Science. Those are standout tracks for me, but it's a good album. So there you have it, Modern Law. Good stuff. So we come to the next album, and this was released in 2019, and he's pretty much kept this band for quite a while now. So we got Dave King on drums and Auger Roder on bass, and this is Love Hurts. It's a really good album this is, and as I said, he's kept this band for quite some time now. So we've got tracks like In Heaven, Tomorrow Is the Question, The Wind Up, Love Hurts, In Circles, Encore, Lullaby, Trudging, I'm Getting Sentimental Over You, and Crying. Good stuff here. Standout tracks for me are Lullaby, Love Hurts, In Circles, Tomorrow Is the Question, and I'm Getting Sentimental Over You. Good stuff here. There they are. There's the band. Really good album this is. As I said, Julian Lage is at his best when he's playing in trio. So there you have it, Love Hurts. And then of course we come to the latest album, which I reviewed on the last edition, which came out just over about a week ago. And this is Squint, which came out in 2021. Brilliant album, one of Julian Lage's best albums he's made to date, and he just continues to get better and better. So I've already covered that in the last edition, but it's a really good album. So there you have it, Squint. And standout tracks for me are Etude, Squint, Emily, Familiar, Flower, Call of the Crayon, and Short Form, and Quiet Like a Fuse. That's a really good, amazing trio album. So the best album for me, as I mentioned already, World's Fair. Fantastic. Love to see Julian Lage do another solo acoustic guitar album. He just absolutely blew my mind when I heard him play this live, and definitely like to see a follow-up of this. So there you have it, World's Fair, my favourite Julian Lage album of all 7 studio albums from his catalogue, and one that I rate very highly as his best one. I definitely put it up there with Squint, but I think this one might just be a little bit better than Squint. But yeah, Squint and this I would say are his 2 best recordings, but this one gets a nod from me. So there you have it, World's Fair. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your favourite Julian Lage album? Is it Sounding Well, Gladwell, World's Fair, Arclight, or is it Modern Law, or is it Squint, or is it Love Hurts? There's no right or wrong answer. We all have our favourites, of course. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time. So until then, take care everybody, and stay safe, and once again, thanks for listening.